Happy morning, children. Welcome back. This is your English online class for Standard 5. Now we have the lesson My Life. Lesson number 9, My Life, page number 122. The characters in this story are Abdul. Abdul is none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, a schoolboy. Then here is Abdul's maths teacher. He likes his maths teacher very much. And then you have Abdul's father. And then you have Abdul's mother. Abdul's family members. These are all his family members. His Arabic tuition master. Then his very close friend Ramanatha Shastri. And then his science teacher Siva Subramanya Iyer. And one more person is missing here. Who is that? His elder brother. Now open to page number 123. My Life. We're going to read that full page. Okay, you are going to read along with me. Then we'll see the explanation in detail. Alright, children. Now, move your pencil with full concentration. You all have to read along with me. I'll also read very slowly. So you join with me. It starts like this. Vanakkam Ayya. I have some good news for you. It was my mathematics teacher from class 4. And he was standing just outside the house and calling out to my father. He looked quite excited, so we all rushed out to greet him and invite him inside. My father offered him a seat and then looked on expectantly. Abdul, come up here to me, my teacher beckoned to me. I was standing with all the other children, peeping from behind my elder brother. I came up shyly to him. He pulled me close affectionately, then turned to my father and said, Abdul has scored full marks in mathematics in the exam. And not only in mathematics, but in science as well. And he has done very well in English and Tamil too. We teachers are very proud of him. I was so pleased to hear this result, but I was even more pleased because my teacher had taken the trouble to come all the way to my house to tell us about this. He had finished his work at the school and then, instead of hurrying back home, he had come here to share his pride and happiness with my family. Our school was small, but it had many such teachers like him. They taught us with love and care and felt the same joy in our achievements as we did. That evening, my mother made special poli. What is poli? Look at the bracket word. Bracket, the explanation is given. That evening, my mother made special poli, that is, a flat chapati shaped sweet, to celebrate. We all loved polis and ate many helpings till we were told we had had enough and sent off to bed in case we got tummy aches. Yes, now just by reading like this once or twice, you will easily understand what is it about. Now let's see the explanation. So here one day, Abdul's maths teacher visited Abdul's house. Look at the dialogue of the maths teacher. Vanakkam Ayya, I have some good news for you. So he's standing here just outside Abdul's house and he is greeting Abdul's father. So Abdul's father is little bit excited. He wanted to know why maths teacher has come home. Imagine if your maths teacher comes home and he wants to talk to your mom and dad. What are the things will run in your mind? What happened? Did I do anything wrong? Has the teacher come to appreciate me? Or is the teacher going to complain about me to my parents? All these things will be running in your mind, right? Yes. So we don't do that, children. We won't give that tension to you. Normally, we meet your parents during parent teachers meet, right? That's it. And then we are not going to complain about you. Don't worry. So here also, this max teacher is so good. Let's see what is he saying. So then what happened? Abdul's family, entire family, mom, dad, brother, sister, and who was there? All the family members, Abdul's family members came out. They all rushed out and then they greeted and they said Vanakkam in Tamil, or they might have said, yeah, good morning, good afternoon. And that is only greeting, okay? Greeted and invited Max teacher. So the Max teacher was taken inside and he was seated inside. So all were eagerly looking at the Max teacher. What is the news? Abdul, look here. Abdul was standing behind his elder brother. This is his elder brother here. His elder brother, and he's standing here. He's just waiting for his max teacher to speak out. So all these family members, they were all really very eager to know what is he going to talk. So now the max teacher calls Abdul. Abdul, come up here to me. Look here, he says, come up here to me. So Abdul comes very close to max teacher. So Abdul came shyly. So cute. Such a little boy, right? Abdul came shyly when the teacher called him. The max teacher pulled him close affectionately. See how he is standing very close to the max teacher and max teacher's hand on him. So lovely, right? So let's see what max teacher is going to talk about Abdul. Yeah, now he speaks. The maths teacher says, Abdul has scored full marks in mathematics in the exam. And not only in mathematics, but in science as well. Such a good news. Imagine a teacher coming home and giving such a good news to all the family members. You will have a party, right? And so now the teacher says, Abdul has scored full mark in mathematics, also in science, right? And also he has done well in English and Tamil. He says like this, look at the screen. And he has done well in English and Tamil too. We teachers are very proud of him. Such a lovely moment. Not only the teachers, Abdul's family members, mom, dad, imagine. So this is what you could give to your parents and family members, children. So see, you cannot go earn money and give them, or you cannot help your family members, mom and dad, in any ways. So if someone is going to appreciate you, that is the best gift you could give to your parents. This has happened in Abdul Kalam's life. Okay, now all the family members, they were so happy to hear the news, the result of Abdul Kalam. But Abdul was happy to hear the result. On top of that, he was full of gratitude. What is he thinking? You see, the teacher has come all the way to his house to talk about Abdul. It is not necessary. It's not necessary that the teacher has to go to somebody's house and give the result. Not necessary, but the teacher has taken all the pain to come all the way to Abdul's house to give the news. So this point Abdul is thinking now. So he's very intelligent. So now he just says some point like this. Abdul Kalam sir says some points. He says Abdul's school was small, but it had teachers like him. The school might look very small, but the teacher's heart, all the teachers' heart are very big. They love the children. That's the point he wanted to say. Abdul's school was small, but it had teachers like him. The teachers in that school taught all the children with love and care. So this is one example where the teacher went to Abdul's house and then gave the news. This shows how much he cared for the kids. And now the family has got a very good news. Of course, it's party time. Abdul's family was excited. His mother made special poli to celebrate the good news. Look here, Abdul and his brother. They are eating poli, sweet poli, which their mother prepared. So this is how they celebrated um, the good news. So here is Poli. You all know Poli, right? You might have tasted Venkateshwara Poli, very famous, right? By this time, you all might have tasted so many Polis in your life. So just to show you the picture, Poli is a flat, a sweet chapati, mouth-watering, right? Okay, now let's read page 124. You're going to read along with me as usual. Okay, I'll read very slowly for you, so you could also join with me. Move your pencil when you read. Ready? As a child, my day started very early. It began with my mother gently shaking me awake very early in the morning before sunrise. Abdul, wake up, Kana, she would call affectionately, and I got up, wiping the sleep from my eyes. I had two places to go to before school. I had two places to go to before school. One was the Arabic tuition class that all of us attended. There we learnt to read the Quran. After it was over, I went to my mathematics teacher's house. He took a special class for students who showed promise in the subject. I have always loved learning about numbers and their rules and patterns. Addition and subtraction and multiplication and all the other basic functions I had learnt very quickly. Now I was raring to know about more complex problems. My teacher had started the class for students just like me, and I enjoyed going there and grappling with number problems in the early hours of the day. I ran back home once the class was over. My mother would always have a hot meal ready. We all ate our fill. In our school, children did not carry tiffin boxes and water bottles, so I ate the mid-morning meal hungrily, enjoying the rice and vegetables and chutney and dal. Some days she would make piping hot dosas, and I still remember their thick, crispy texture and the spicy powder smeared on them. The children all walked to school together. Our school was the Rameshwaram Elementary School, and the only one in the town then. We walked along the cobbled road together, chatting and playing little games. We had to carry only a few books with us, and no one took school bags. The school building had rows of classrooms and a small playground. In the class, I sat with Ramanatha Sastri, my best friend. We had known each other from the first day we came to school and been friends ever since. He and I loved to chat, and somehow we never ran out of things to say to each other and do together. One day we decided we would build boats made of leaves and keep them ready in case it rained. Whenever we got a break between classes, we took up our pile of leaves and made little boats out of them. Imagine our joy when it actually rained that day. Children, let's continue page 125 also, that small paragraph. Page 125. Our whole fleet of boats, I'm sorry, our whole fleet of boats set sail on the many puddles. If I saw an ant or some other insect, I carefully made sure it got a ride on my boat to safety. I don't know if the ants were any grateful for this unexpected joyride, but we were thrilled to see them clinging on to the flimsy leaf boats and sail away. Okay, we stop here. In page number 125, we stopped. Alright, so the story is being told by whom? Right, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So when he was a child like you in class 5, something happened, and that incident he is sharing with you all. Okay, so now we finished reading page number 124 and 125 first paragraph. That's all. If you want, you play back and then listen and read along one more time and continue the video class. All right, children? Okay, now let's see the explanation. Dr. Abdul Kalam says that small boy Abdul of class 5 is talking to you, and he says, as a child, my day started very early. That means he gets up very early. Do you understand the meaning? So let's follow the same. He gets up every morning very early because he has something to do before going to school, and that's the reason he got up very early. So you know what? His mother wakes up Abdul uh, very affectionately. Look at the screen. She calls him Kana. Your mother also does, right? With some different cute lovely words. She calls Abdul, wake up Kana. Mother was full of love. Mother is always full of love, right? And so she calls her son affectionately. And he also wakes up immediately. He never asks for extra time like us. We ask, no, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, please pull the bed sheet and then sleep for some more time. We discussed this in some other class also. Yes, that's heavenly sleep. Okay, so now here mother wakes up Abdul very affectionately. Yeah, like when Abdul gets up and before going to school, he has to attend his Arabic tuition class. Abdul attended Arabic tuition class before school. That was, I think, that was very compulsory. Like everyone has to attend. So he also attended the Arabic tuition class. In Arabic tuition class, all the children learned how to read Quran, the holy book of Muslims. As we have, Hindus have a Bhagavad Gita, Christians have a Bible, and Muslims have Quran. These are all holy book of various religions. So here he learned to read Quran in the Arabic tuition class along with other friends. Alright, now after the Quran class, Arabic tuition class, he and his friends attended a maths class. That was special class conducted by their mathematics teacher. You know his mathematics teacher now, one who visited his house. And there is a sentence in your textbook. It says, he took a special class for students who showed promise in the subject. That means the set of people, the set of students who showed interest in the subject is only that is what is mentioned like this, who showed promise in the subject. So you know our Abdul, he learned, he loved to learn numbers, the rules of the numbers and the patterns of the numbers. And he was a very quick learner. He learned addition, subtraction, multiplication, all these, and the functions of these functions of addition, subtraction, multiplication very quickly he learned. Okay, now he wanted to learn more and more. For this set of students, the maths teacher conducted some special class. So those students went to his house, to mathematics teacher's house, and there only they learned all these things. Okay, this is actually extra teaching. Okay, look at the screen. Then Abdul attended maths special class. Then Abdul attended Max special class. That is after attending Arabic tuition class, that is Arabic Quran. After learning Quran, he attended Max special class. Abdul loved to learn about numbers and their rules and patterns. He learned quickly. So this is special class where Abdul and his friends attended the class at the teacher's house. Okay. Children, we always love to attend to solve problems, and that is why all of you, show interest in riddles, puzzles, right? Same with Abdul. He enjoyed the class, and also he enjoyed grappling with number problems. What is grappling? The meaning of grappling is trying to solve. So struggling, you have to struggle, and then you will enjoy and find out the answer, find out the solution. That's the meaning of grappling. So Abdul enjoyed attending the class. He enjoyed grappling with number problems. So see, it is a thrill actually. So whatever you know, if you're going to learn the same thing from the textbook or anywhere in the book or any story or whatever, if you know the story, you will not feel like reading the story again, is it not? Because you will feel, I know the story, why should I read this again? If you feel it's a new story where I want to find out what is happening in the story, you will have some interest. Same here also. If you want to struggle and find out the solution, you will show lot of interest. Same thing happened for Abdul, and that is why he attended this special class. Okay, now our Abdul's life in morning, early morning. So he gets up very early in the morning. He goes to Arabic tuition class, and then he attends the special class, mathematics special class. And after that, yeah, he rushes home. And as soon as he reaches home, what is ready for him? Yes, hot meal is ready. It is not tiffin. Okay, it is not breakfast actually. It is hot meal, a proper meal. Why is it so? That we'll see. So Abdul ran back home after the special class. His mother would always have a hot meal ready. So what happens here is children never carried lunch bag. So you all carry lunch bag, water bottle, snacks and all these things when you come to school, right? So here where Abdul studied in the school, they never carried lunch bag. They never carry water. So what happens is before going to school, they don't sit and eat breakfast. They finish mid-morning meal hungrily. Do you understand? They eat their full rice, vegetables, chutney, dal. Okay. Children never carried lunch and water to school. They ate mid-morning meal hungrily, like rice, vegetables, chutney, and dal, so that it will be helpful for them till they reach home and have their food. You understand? Okay, as I told you, they don't children never carry a lunch bag or water bottle or even school bags. They don't carry. They just carry a few books in their hand. That's all. Okay, that is a methodology followed in that school when Abdul studied. All right, children. So now what happened is here he mentions about his mother's food, the way she prepares with love and affection. Very special is this. Some days mom made piping hot dosas. Abdul always loved the thick, crispy texture and the spicy powder smeared on them. I'll repeat. Some days mom made piping hot dosas. Abdul always loved the thick, crispy texture and the spicy powder smeared on them. What is that smeared? What is that spicy powder? Wow, it's mouth watering. Really, it's mouth watering for me. Okay, so Abdul mentions about the special dosas prepared by his mom. Piping hot dosas is nothing but very, very hot. Piping hot means very hot. Okay, extreme hot, right? So you could mention, you could use this word when the food is very hot. Use this word, piping hot dosas. And he loved the thick crispy texture and the spicy powder. You call it as what? Chili powder. Chili powder, which is used, which we add for idli and dosas, right? The spicy powder smeared on them, just spread on the top of the dosas. Can you see the picture here? Yeah. It differs. Probably his mother has prepared a a very, very tasty spicy powder that's smeared on top. Smeared is nothing but spread. It is just spread. You spread jam on the what is that, bread, right? So you just call it as smeared. It is smeared on top. And so now our Abdul Kalam, the small boy Abdul, gets up early in the morning, goes to Arabic tuition class, then he goes to mathematics special class, and then he rushes home, and he eats the mid morning meal, and then he starts to school. Okay, so this is the school, the only school in the town, Rameshwaram Elementary School. Yes, and the children walked along the cobbled road. What is cobbled road, children? Look here. Look at the screen. Yeah, the road full of stones. Children had to cross the road, walk along these kind of roads, and then reach the school. As I told you, they all enjoyed. Children enjoyed going to the classroom, going to school, even though the road was not in condition. Children carried only a few books in hands and no school bags. As mentioned earlier, we discussed this. Children never carry what, lunch bag, water bottle, school bags. They just carried only few books according to their timetable. They know what class is going to happen that day, so they carried only the one or two books in their hands. Okay. The school building has rows of classroom and a very small playground. Can you see the picture here? This is the rows of classroom and a playground. It looks so good. So now after getting into the classroom, see what happens. Look at the screen. Here, Abdul. And Abdul is sitting close to another friend who's named as Ramanatha Sastri. So Abdul and Ramanatha Sastri sat together in the classroom. They were best friends. Look at the children here. Best friends always love to spend time together, right? We all know that. So here also the same, Abdul and Ramanatha Sastri wanted to spend time together. They keep on talking. They don't know about what they are talking, but they'll be going on and on talking. See here, Abdul, you know what happened today? So now Abdul is asking, anything interesting? So they love to chat. Abdul and Ramanatha Sastri love to chat. They never ran out of things to say to each other and do together. So both of them, they used to chat continuously. They love to chat, and then they love to do certain things. Look at the screen. They decided one day, they decided to build boats. Boats made of leaves. They didn't take paper from the notebooks. They didn't tear papers from the notebooks. That's a good one, right? So they made boats made of leaves, and they keep them ready in case it rained. Okay, so whenever they have a break in between classes, they took the leaves and then they made little boats. Look at the screen. Imagine their joy when it rained, right? We're so lucky. Let us sail our leaf boats in the puddles. They spoke like that, and then suddenly it started raining. So they were so happy to see the rain. Once it started raining, there were puddles. Just can you see small, small puddles where water stays like this. This is only called as puddles. So both the friends, that was Abdul and Ramanatha Sastri, sent their fleet of boats in the puddles. Can you see these leaf boats? How cute. Abdul is so caring. Look here. See what is he doing? He is having something in his hand. Can you see the picture? Look at the screen, children. What is he having in his hand? I think it must be a small insect, or it must be, yeah, it is green in color, it must be some insect. So Abdul picked ants and other insects carefully and gave a safe ride on the boats. Oh my god, how lovely. So he picks the ants and other insects, those who were struggling in the water. So he picked them and then he put the insects and ants on the boat, so they will have a very safe ride. How lovely. And then look at the way he thinks to save the insects and the ants, right? It is really appreciable. So now look at the picture. Wow, the ants are clinging. Can you see they are attached? Look here, watch carefully. Can you watch? Yeah, Abdul and Ramanatha Sastri were thrilled to see the insects clinging on to the flimsy leaf boards. Okay, not very strong. These boards are not very strong. After all, they are made of leaves. That is why the word flimsy is given. Flimsy leaf boards. So when it started raining, the children were very happy, right? Both of them were very happy because they are ready with leaf boats. And when there was puddles here and there, they started sailing their boats. And when the boats were ready and they were about to sail, they picked the insects and gave them a free ride. And they were so happy to see the insects and the ants clinging to the leaf boats. Just by seeing this picture itself, it gives joy, it gives happiness to us. Imagine if this has really happened. Yes. So now all these ants are very, very happy. All the insects are very happy. They are just saying, oh my god, we are very safe. Ants are talking, insects are talking. Friends, land ahead. There is a land there. We are going to land safely. So now all the insects and the ants here in this leaf boat says, thanks for the ride, boys. Okay, now let's read page number 125 from second paragraph. First paragraph we have already done. It is about the fleet of boats which they have sailed in puddles. Now second paragraph. From second paragraph we are going to read along with me. As usual, all of you are going to read along with me loudly, right? Okay, let's start. Siva Subramania Iyer taught me when I was 10 years old in the 5th standard. He was a great teacher, and all of us loved to attend his class and hear him. One day, he was teaching how birds fly. He drew a diagram of a bird on the blackboard, depicting the wings, tail, and the body structure. He explained how birds create the lift and fly. He also explained to us how they change direction while flying. For nearly 25 minutes, he gave the lecture with various information such as lift, drag, and how birds fly in formations of 10, 20, or 30. At the end of the class, he wanted to know whether we had understood what he had been teaching. I spoke up and said I had not understood. When I said this, he asked the other students whether they had understood or not. Many students then said that they too had not understood. Our response did not upset him at all. When we were scheduled to have our next class with him, he had a wonderful surprise. He said that he would take us to the seashore that evening. The whole class went to the seashore of Rameswaram. We enjoyed looking out at the roaring waves. In the sky, there were many birds flying around. He pointed out the birds that were flying. Children, turn to next page. We'll continue. He pointed out the birds that were flying in formation of 10 or 20 numbers. And we observed the marvelous flight formations they made. He asked us to watch how they looked when they were in flight and how they flapped their wings. He then told us to look at the tail and see how they used the combination of flapping wings and twisting their tail while flying. We noticed closely and found that the birds were able to fly in the direction they wanted to by using both tail and wings. Then he asked us, "Where is the engine in this bird? Do you know what the engine that powers each bird is?" He explained that each bird is powered by its own life force and the motivation of what it wants. In the space of 15 minutes, he explained the concept of flight dynamics in birds, and we understood everything. He gave us a theoretical lesson coupled with a live practical example available in nature. This was real teaching. For me, that evening, I did not merely understand how a bird flies, it went much deeper. I felt as though the bird's flight entered into me and created a special feeling. Since that evening, I was sure that my future study had to be with reference to flight and flight systems. My teacher's teaching and the event that I witnessed that day decided my career path. One evening after the classes, I asked him, "Sir, please tell me, how can I progress further in learning all about flight?" He patiently explained me that I should complete my 8th standard here and then go to high school. After that, I should go to engineering college where I would be able to learn about flight. If I completed each step, I would be able to do something connected with flight sciences. This advice and the lesson that evening by the seashore gave me a goal and a mission for my life. Alright, children, up to this, let us stop. Let us see the explanation. Okay. Remaining, we'll read again and we'll see the explanation. Right? Okay. So now we finished reading. If you want to read one more time, I appreciate if you read. Okay. If you want to read one more time, you can play back again and then read the 2 pages and then come back and listen to the explanation so that you will understand very easily and quickly. Alright. Okay. Now let's see the explanation. When Abdul was studying in class 5, that is when he was 10 years old, a teacher named Sivasubramanya Iyer taught him. All the children loved him. Yes, because he was a great teacher. One day he was teaching how birds fly. He drew a diagram of a bird depicting the wings, tail, and the body structure. He wanted to explain how birds fly. So the teacher explained how birds create lift and fly, how they change direction. Have you wondered? Have you seen birds flying in the sky, children? Have you noticed that? Have you watched carefully how they fly? What makes them fly? Have you ever wondered that? Yes, this was the explanation given by him to the students. He lectured, that is, he took the class for some 25 minutes about how birds fly, about the lift and the drag. So now the teacher even spoke about the formation of birds in 10, 20 or 30s. You might have noticed. Am I right, children? Have you noticed birds flying in groups together in 20s and 30s? You might have noticed early morning or even evening. Rarely you could see even in the afternoons. They fly in groups and that too in V shape. Have you noticed that? Yes. And the teacher asked whether the children understood the concept. This normally happens, right? When the teacher teaches, you might have experienced this every class. When the teacher completes teaching or in between teaching, also the teacher used to ask you, children, did you understand? Am I clear? Any doubts? Right? We teachers ask you. The same thing here. Siva Subramaniam, my master, asked whether the children understood the concept. So now, when a teacher asks whether you understood, you might have experienced this. The class remains silent. Nobody says, "No, I don't understand." And few of them says, "Yes, ma'am, we understood. Yes, ma'am, clear." But not very sure, right? Look at the screen. When the teacher asked, when Siva Subramaniam asked whether they understood, nobody was ready to reply. But look at the faces. Look at the picture. They all looked confused, not very clear about the concept, but they remained silent. Only Abdul was ready to say this. Look what he has said. Can you explain again, sir? I haven't understood. Very bold, right? So, when all the children were confused and kept silent, only Abdul was ready to say, "Sir, I don't understand." It's a kind of instigation. When one says, "I don't understand," then only other students also um, will be ready to say, "I don't understand." Same thing happened here in the story. When Abdul said, "Sir, I don't understand, can you please explain one more time?" All the other children, yeah, then only they started saying, "Even I don't understand, sir. Not clear, sir." In that group also, immediately when Abdul said, "I don't understand," his close friend Ramanatha Sastri, no, he said, "Not clear, sir." And after he said, all the students in the class started saying, and that too, sir asked again, "Children, what about others?" Then only Abdul's friend also said, "I don't understand," and other students in the class said, "I don't understand the concept." Actually, the concept is really very tough for class 5. It's about flight dynamics that cannot be learned very easily. Okay, um, let's see that also. I'll just give you the outline. What is flight dynamics? Okay. When the entire class said, I don't understand, not clear, can you please explain? Imagine the condition of the teacher. The teacher was not upset. Very nice. A good teacher will not be upset for this kind of reply from the students. So the children's response did not upset him, but he has planned something else to make each and every student in the class to understand. Okay, during the next class, he took the children to the Rameshwaram beach. It was a surprise to them when he took them to the seashore that evening. He took all the children to the seashore for some reason. He is going to explain here. Let's see what is that. And now, children were so excited to go to Rameswaram seashore. And the master, the teacher, showed the birds flying in 10, 20s, and 30s. And he asked the students, children, come on, look at the birds. Watch them carefully. Look at their wings, the movement of their wings, the movement of their tails, and what makes them fly. Please watch carefully. This is what he said. The children were so excited to see something in practical. The previous day, the same thing teacher was explaining in the classroom where nobody understood. The next day, when they are here in the seashore looking at the birds, definitely they'll have some idea, right? They'll understand easily. So now look at the screen. Master says, watch the birds in flight. Look how they flap their wings. See their tails. The combination of flapping wings and twisting tails. When he asked the children to watch carefully, and when he explained again, the children understood. So they said, yes, sir. They fly using both wings and tail. They use both wings. So not only wings, they also use tail to fly. Now after that, he asked this question to the students. Okay, children, now you all understood. You all watched the birds flying in the sky. Now tell me, what makes the birds fly like this? Where is the engine? Where is the power? When he asked this question, children were eagerly looking at him for the reply from himself. Okay, so now he asks like this. Where is the engine in this bird? For every movement, we need some engine, right? So he asked, where is the engine in all these birds? Do you know what the engine that powers them? What powers them? What gives them energy to move? Right? Where is the battery? See, like when the fan moves fast, how it moves? What is the reason? You all know, due to electricity. And the machineries inside the fan makes the fan work, move very fast. Every gadget that we use at home has some battery or some machinery or some engine that makes them work. Is it not? Same question he is asking to the students now. So, what is the kind of engine the birds are using to get the power? Where is the power supply coming from? Electricity, engine, battery, from where they get the power? This is a question to the students. It's for you all also. So, the children were so small, like you all, right? So now you are all very clever. So, children, this happened many years back. It's a small school, and the children are coming from a background where they don't see things around easily. But I'm sure you are all very clever. Now you know flight dynamics, how they fly, what makes them fly, and because of that, what was made, that is, what was discovered, right? What was invented, not discovered, what was invented, and how we fly from one country to another country. Yes, yeah, I'm talking about airplane. All right. So now the master says each bird, that is, he gives the answer. Each bird is powered by its own life force and by its own motivation. There is no engine, especially in the bird. There is no any particular engine. It's all because of the life force of the bird and the motivation of the bird itself. Nobody is motivating the bird. It is getting motivated itself. That is self motivation. When you decide, when you get the motivation to run fast and win the race, you run, right? When you decide, when you get the motivation to walk slowly or jog fast, run fast. It is up to you, right? The motivation comes from ourselves only. Same thing here. He says the self motivation, the bird's own motivation makes them fly, and also the life force, the energy what they have inside. With the help of these two only, birds fly. So now in the seashore, Rameshwaram seashore, he gave explanation for 15 minutes. He explained the concept of flight dynamics in birds. He gave the children a theoretical lesson with live practical examples. In 15 minutes, he explained the concept of flight dynamics in birds. Children understood. Now they understood. How? Previous day he took class for some 25 minutes. He drew the picture of a bird depicting tails, wings and all those stuff, and then he explained also in the class. Nobody understood, but the very next day when he took the children to the seashore and when he showed the birds, that is practical. Okay, the previous day 25 minutes class was theoretical. Theory, that's only theory. They just learn, see the text and then learn. Practical is something we show in live. Okay, and that is why you might have noticed, even me in my class or other classes also, you might have noticed teachers show videos to you, some pictures. Even more, if it has to be real practical, we have to go out and then learn. That's only real teaching. And also, see, when you learn something, you should get good examples for that. If something is really tough, you should have an example for that. Very inspiring example, interesting example. That is only real teaching. It's not only reading the textbook, not simply reading the textbook and understanding. That is theory. Even I have told you, children, read once, twice, thrice. You will understand. That is theoretical. Okay, theoretical learning should be there, plus if you have some practical examples, then you will shine, you will understand very quickly. That is what Sivasubramaniam Iyer sir did for the students, and the students also understand, and the students understood. Now let's see about the flight dynamics here quickly. Okay, look at this airplane. Can you see there are four directions. The airplane flies in the air. It has gravity down, that is gravity here on the ground will pull the airplane down, but against that there is one more force acting on the top, that is lift. That is the airplane is trying to lift up. Imagine the same with birds also. Okay, and here in the front it is thrust. Thrust is a new word for you, or have you learned in science? Not sure. Okay, fine. So this is thrust. The front, can you see? It pulls the, that is, it pushes the airplane to the front. Push forcibly, with full force. But at the back side, something is dragging, pulling. This is pulling and this is pushing. Clear? With all these force equally, the airplane flies. Children, I have just given a rough outline. It's a big topic where you have to learn in detail about flight dynamics. Okay, so just for you to understand, I have given here. At least you should know the outline of what is flight dynamics. The same process is for birds also. They flap their wings very fast, you know. When they flap their wings very fast, the pressure that is created in the air makes them fly. Okay, let's see what is thrust. Look here, what is thrust? Can you see this crowd? People are trying to get inside the train. They thrust, they give some force and try to get inside the train. This is only thrust. Simple example I should give you like this. If you have a plate of jelly or a bowl of jelly, you take a spoon and then you try to put the spoon inside the jelly. That is, you push with full force. That is only thrust. You give thrust, right? Guess you understand what is thrust now, because thrust is a new word I felt, so I gave you this example. And this is only called as practical teaching, children. See, um, I have explained, but I wanted to show you with good example, and I wanted to tell you with an inspiring example, and that is why I got jelly and then ice cream inside this, because this will help you to understand. Now you understand the difference between theoretical learning and practical learning. Yes. All right, now after all this explanation by the teacher, children are very clear now, right? They all said, all clear, sir. I understood, sir. First, they were all so confused like this, and later the confusion vanished, and now they are very, very clear about the concept. There was a spark in Abdul's mind. So when he learned this concept, you know what happened? The bird's flight made Abdul decide on his future study. A reference to flight and flight system. Look here, Abdul is still dreaming about the flight, the bird's flight and the airplane, how they are connected, interconnected. It is so interesting. Why don't I go for higher studies? This was running in his mind. So that day, he not only learned about the bird's fly, but also he had decided his career path. So now you all have some goal, no children. Now by this time, you all will have some dream like this. This is what I'm going to be when I grow up. This is my career path. I want to become, just simply say, right? You say, my dream is to become an IAS officer, right? I want to become a teacher. I want to become a doctor. I want to become an engineer. All these things are your goals. To decide this, to decide what you want to become in future, there must be some inspiration. There must be some reason for that. So Abdul's reason is that day's class, which inspired him a lot, and he decided that he had to go for higher studies and learn about flight system. When Abdul decided his career path, he just wanted to discuss about that. So his favorite teacher, as you know, Sivasubramaniam Iyer, he went to him and asked, "Sir, please tell me, how can I progress further in learning all about flight?" So he decided, Abdul decided his career already, and he wanted to discuss about that to his teacher. And he asked this question, "Sir, can you please tell me how can I go about? How can I proceed? How can I progress further in learning all about flight?" So from this, children, you you all have a goal. You all want to know what you want to become when you grow in your future. So what are you supposed to do for that? What is the procedure? What are the proceedings? What are you supposed to do now itself? See, Abdul is in class 5. In class 5, he decided his career. And after deciding his career, he didn't write simply in his diary and kept quiet. He discussed about that to a person who could explain him, who could help him. Same thing you have to do. It's not only deciding our career, and we have to proceed for that. This is very, very important. Okay? The teacher was so kind to explain Abdul about his doubt. He said, "Abdul, complete till class 8 in this school, because this is elementary school, Rameshwaram Elementary School. It has classes only till 8 because it's an elementary. It is a elementary school. Am I right, children? Yes. So that's what sir says. Abdul, complete till class 8 in the school and then go to high school. That is class 9, 10, 11, 12. You have to study in high school. For that, Abdul has to go to some other place, not in this same town, not in the same place at Rameshwaram. He has to go somewhere else. Okay, then join, after completing your high school, then join engineering college and learn about flight. He gave the step-by-step follow-ups which Abdul has to do to attain his goal. So the piece of advice which sir has given helped Abdul. He said, "Thank you, sir. Now I have set a goal for my life." Now let's continue reading, children. Page number 126 and 127. 126. In page 126, open page 126, all of you. Yeah. In page 126, we have finished reading first, second, third, fourth paragraph over. Till 4 paragraphs we have finished. A mission for my life. There it ends. Okay. Now let's continue reading. Then we'll see the explanation. Okay. Now read along with me. I spoke to my father about my dreams and ambitions, and as a result, at the age of 15, decided to move to the Swartz High School in Ramanathapuram. Saying goodbye to Rameshwaram and the familiar old streets was difficult, and I was a bit scared too of going away from this place where everyone knew me and where I knew every corner and tree. I had never gone so far away from my family, and to leave my mother behind made me especially sad. She too shed tears and made boxes of food that would last me for a few days. Those police that I was so fond of went with me on my first trip outside Rameswaram. We left by the train. Jalaluddin and Samsuddin came along with me to help me settle down in the new place. I remember waving goodbye to everyone till there were little specks in the distance. Little specks means just little dots. Okay. My eyes were threatening to water, but I held back the tears. I was a big boy now, and how I could, sorry, I was a big boy now, and how could I cry for my mother in front of everyone? But whatever one's age, to live away from your parents for the first time, however exciting, can also be a bit frightening. My first glimpse of my new school was a plaque that was nailed to its entrance that read, "Let not thy winged days be spent in vain." When once gone, no gold can buy them back. It meant that the best days of our lives were now, when we were learning, and we had to make the most of this time. We have to use the time. Once gone, the time would run like sand between our fingers, and we would never get it back again. The words not only filled me with hope and expectations, but also helped me put aside my homesickness and look forward to all that I would learn at this new school. So now we finished reading page 126 and 127. We are going to see the explanation. You may play back and read the lesson one more time also. Okay. Abdul followed the procedure. First, he has to discuss all these things to his parents, mom and dad, right? So he spoke to his father here. Father, I wish to study further and learn more on flight science. Father was really happy about this. Okay, he spoke to his father about his dreams and ambitions. So after completing 8th standard, he decided to move to some other place, some other school, in some other place, that he had to leave his family. Imagine his condition, children. So when he discussed with his father, they decided Abdul had to move to Swartz High School in Ramanathapuram. He has to leave Rameshwaram and then he has to go to Ramanathapuram for his higher studies. The problem here is Ramanathapuram is a new place for Abdul. And Rameshwaram, he knows every nook and corner. He knows all the people, all the area. So it was so difficult for him to leave his hometown and he felt scared to go to a new place. Poor thing. After all, class 8 student. Such a small boy only. It was very scary. He felt really scared. He didn't know any of the people living in Ramanathapuram. He had to go alone and live. His family cannot come to Ramanathapuram along with him because of some work or some personal reasons. So it was very difficult for him to leave his hometown. He felt very sad. So this was the first time he had to leave his family, especially his mother. That's mother, right? So please put yourself in Abdul's position. Then you will realize the pain and the sadness in Abdul. The same feeling you will have. If you have to understand something, put yourself in the same position and understand. You will understand easily. Okay. So Abdul was very much worried. Look at the faces of his family. They are all very much worried. Can you see Abdul? There is a small smile. He is trying to pacify his family members. So matured. Is it not, children? His mother was so upset, but she could not stop Abdul from going to Ramanathapuram because he has to study. His mother cried. His mother shed tears, but she packed food. What is Abdul's favorite food, children? We discussed. Yes, right. Abdul's favorite police traveled along with him outside Rameshwaram. That means mother packed police for him and the package was given to Abdul. Abdul traveled and the police also traveled along with him. Abdul had to travel by train from Rameshwaram to Ramanathapuram. Abdul traveled by train. He waved goodbye to all. He was strong enough to hold back his tears. He did not cry loudly because that will affect his family members, especially his mother. If he was showing, by the time when he was showing his emotion, automatically mother also would have joined him crying. So he just tried to hold back. He just acted as if he's okay. He didn't cry, but his face is very much visible. Can you see here? He looked very sad. It is mentioned in the textbook, Jalaluddin and Samsuddin came along with me to help me settle down in the new place. Jalaluddin and Samsuddin must be his cousins or friends who helped him to settle down. Alright, look at his family members waving at him. So it was exciting but also frightening bit to leave away from his parents. It's a big task, children, leaving the family and going away, staying alone and studying. See, nowadays people do this. Nowadays Grown up children, those who finish college, they go to foreign countries and then they study alone and come back. That is different scenario because they've grown up. Apart from that, when you are a class 5 or class 7 or class 8, very young age, it's really tough to leave the family, go and live alone and prepare for exams, study, take care of yourself. It's almost like what? Being in a hostel, a residential school. We have residential school nowadays, and children stay there, they enjoy, but they'll have some inner pain in them. Do you agree with me? Leaving the family, going away, it's so pathetic, right? For some reason, for some personal reason, this is happening nowadays. But they'll be highly missing their family members and parents. Yes. So you're all lucky that you're all staying with your parents, you're all very close to your family members. So thank God and be grateful to your family members. This is my point. Okay. So now Abdul reached Ramanathapuram and he was about to get into his school. He saw something at the entrance. Look at the screen, all of you. Can you see this notice board? This is called as plaque. Plaque is nothing but placard. You all know placard? Yes. Some announcement, some inscription is made on a wooden tablet or even stone tablet. You might have noticed, right? So something is written on that which has inspired Abdul. You know what it is? Shall we read this? It goes like this. Let's read. All of you read. Let not thy winged days be spent in vain. When once gone, no gold can buy them back. What are the winged days? That is, the golden days which you have in your hand now. Let not thy winged days be spent in vain. That means, let us not waste the golden time which we have in our hand. Okay? When once gone, no gold can buy them back. Time is precious. Don't miss. Okay? When the time is gone, it is not going to come back again. The best days which we have now should be used. We have to learn. Let us not waste. Once it is gone, like sand between our fingers. When you take some sand in your hand and you open up, the sand goes down and we would never get it back again. Okay, so these words helped Abdul to come out of homesickness. He was very sad, you know. So now that after reading this, after learning the meaning of this, he understood the value of time. He lost his homesickness. He has come out of homesickness and he learned and he excelled in his life. So here, the words helped him to come out of homesickness. Gradually, he succeeded in his life. What do you understand from this, children? Let us not waste time. So Abdul succeeded in his life. After his high school study, Abdul Kalam attended Madras Institute of Technology where he received a degree in aeronautical engineering in 1960. You remember his goal? Yes, he wanted to learn about flights. Then he joined the Defense Research and Development Organization, that is DRDO, an Indian Military Research Institute, and later the Indian Space Research Organization, that is ISRO. So he had succeeded in his life. Above all, he was a very great human being. Let us all salute Abdul Kalam.